And I'm Jake.
And we're the founders of Doorside.
So, show of hands really quick. Who here is a real estate agent? Or ex-real estate agent? All right, I'm the son of a real estate agent. I've watched my dad spend his entire career having two choices. Do I spend time with my family and not make money? Or do I spend time with my clients to provide for my family? So I've watched my dad, as well as many other agents, face this challenge, and that motivated me to do something about it.
I've been a licensed agent for the past 4 years, and so everybody here who raised their hand, they know that being a new agent is not easy. Early in my career, I started helping other agents, like Jake's dad, with tasks like showings and open houses so I could earn extra money while I built my business. After helping multiple agents, I thought to myself, why do we not have an on-demand app like Uber? So I talked with agents across the country and learned just how many people could benefit from an on-demand solution.
Meet Allie. Allie is a busy real estate agent, and everyone in her life is demanding things from her 24/7. Her clients want to see a house right now. Her kids want her at their soccer game. She's got a deal that's falling through. It's closing day, and she's got to deliver a key. Plus, it's date night with her husband. And that's Allie's life. And when she's absolutely desperate for support, her only options are calling or texting buddies in the office or frantically posting on the office's Facebook page.
Meet Owen, a new real estate agent. His life revolves around dedicating unpaid time to training. When he's not in the office taking classes or practicing scripts, he's hosting open houses for free or prospecting in within his limited network. To pay the bills, he's working an unrelated side job, which keeps him from fully committing to real estate and further prolongs the success of his business. So Allie and Owen need help on both ends, and the obvious solution is connecting them together. So how can this busy agent and this new agent find each other?
Meet Doorside, an on-demand services marketplace for real estate agents.
Push a button, get connected with other trusted agents who can show properties, host open houses, and more.
We're solving two user problems with one solution, leveraging designated service providers to offer a reliable, trusted, and standardized customer experience.
So, how does it work?
Here's how Allie uses Doorside to find support. If Allie's clients want to see a house, she logs into the app and selects a showing service. Prices are standardized to streamline the process, so she doesn't need to negotiate any further. Just select it and request it. She enters property details, her payment information, and then books it. Then, Allie receives confirmation that her request has been sent. And this is something that she doesn't get when she's soliciting buddies or frantically posting on Facebook. Now, a beacon has been sent to all service providers on the app, who we call openers. Shortly after, Allie's matched with Owen, another trusted agent, who will show Allie's buyers the house. And that's how easy it is for Allie to reclaim her time, that she can now use to prospect more business, spend with her family, or focus on self-care.
Here's how Owen uses Doorside to earn extra income. Owen logs into the app and can easily book an available job, like Allie's showing, in a click. He can see how close in distance he is to the property and how much he'll make for the job. He gets a live view of his upcoming earnings, so he knows exactly how much money he's making every week. Not only is he earning reliable income, but he's gaining real-world experience that he wouldn't receive as part of his training. After Owen finishes the showing, he sends a follow-up message to Allie. Allie provides Owen with a rating and a review, and the service is complete. This gives Owen the opportunity to gain valuable feedback, build new relationships, and gain confidence as a real estate agent.
Agents who leverage Doorside offer their clients a reliable and flexible customer service experience and are also better equipped to compete against disruptive technologies that aim to eliminate them.
As the agents in the room know, today's home buyers and sellers, they expect immediate attention, the same way that they expect their Netflix to play or their Uber to arrive. At Doorside, we believe the future of residential real estate is on demand. And if traditional real estate companies don't adopt a scalable technology solution to meet the needs of the modern consumer, we foresee their business models inevitably failing within a matter of time.
Investment in PropTech has skyrocketed from tens of millions of dollars in 2010 to tens of billions of dollars in 2019. And that investment continues to grow due to 4 key factors. First, the market opportunity is absolutely immense. We're talking trillions of dollars. Second, there's no single leader in the industry commanding it like Amazon in the retail space, so that position is available. Third, 20 PropTech companies have joined the Unicorn Club since 2014, which exhibits that great successes are possible. And lastly, the entire industry is just desperate for technological advancement.
The future is here for all stakeholders in the industry.
So don't become an anecdote of myopia, because those individuals and companies that don't adapt will be deemed obsolete.
Thank you so much for listening, and we'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right.
First of all, my name is Sarah with Endpoint Title and Escrow, and I just thought your presentation was awesome. My one question right now is, if you have a gentleman who's going to be doing the showing of that property, and then those buyers want to make an offer on that house, is there any more compensation to that agent, or is it just a one payment for the showing, and then the lady writes up the mutual, and then Owen's job is over? That was my
Yeah, so Owen is just paid as like a la carte for opening the door.
First, excited about this company because I've been on both sides of this in a previous career. But the question is, what if the client likes Owen better than their actual agent?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So we enforce a strict no poaching policy, ensuring that openers will never solicit clients. And so that's just like an absolute no with our technology for an opener to solicit a client. Also, if a client wants to move with Owen, then that would definitely, not be cool.
Do you get cool concept, by the way? Do you guys think about other services as an extension of this, like staging and other aspects of the real estate transaction process as being extensions?
Absolutely. We're focusing narrow right now on 7 services that are the most used services for real estate agents. And we, of course, want to expand into every little task that an agent has to do. Because if you look at kind of the lifetime value of these tasks that an agent has to do, showing open houses, inspections, it diminishes over time. As a new agent, it's really valuable to do these things. You're learning a lot and getting valuable experience. But an experienced agent doing all those tasks, it kind of just bogs them down from lead gen and from closing deals. So definitely looking to
It's
expand.
like a built-in team almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Outsourced team.
On-demand team.
So how is Doorside working out for your dad?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good. Yeah.
I'm
It's,
his dad. I just wanted to throw out that, like, this kind of a service is so amazing because my wife and I, we go down to Arizona a lot, and I still want to, maintain my stature, in Seattle and with my clients. So I've been using Doorside, and it's just been phenomenal. I don't have to worry about anything. My clients it's like everything just keeps on going. The gears keep on turning.
Yeah. My dad's really helped spark the idea and to deliver upon it. So it's been awesome.
And he can guarantee he's not biased at all.
Not hey, I have to pay like everyone else.
Oh, that's sad. Wait a second.
Being an economist here, I just have to ask, is this, what would you see as a possible role where that might be taken by unlicensed assistants?
Yeah.
I'm an economist, I can touch that third rail, of where you would call it unlicensed assistants that's on the app to show the house, but they're not licensed as a broker.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So we verify all real estate licenses for agents that are on the platform as openers. So we also have a tracking system to find out like when their licenses are up for expiration, to send them notifications, to just be another bird in the ear like, hey, are you renewing your license? To make sure that everybody on our platform is absolutely legally able to open doors.
Hi, I'm Ryan Collalao with Stewart Title Company. My question is, do you also provide the training? Obviously, you're connecting agents on both ends. Do you help with training? Is there a standardization of how the person conducts themselves, or how's that work?
Yeah, that's a super crucial question, and I think that's one of
one of our biggest value propositions, I would say, is the fact that we have a full onboarding program that onboards new agents, that gives them kind of a code of conduct that goes not only like our expectations and standards, but goes deeper on things like make sure your car is washed and make sure that you arrive like professionally and that you arrive earlier on time. So it's also, providing leverage for that agent to get some like just general coaching, I would say, about etiquette. So that's definitely something of value that we provide as well.
All right, thank you. I'm going to cut it there. I'm sure that they're going to stick around so you can go and talk to them. But in the interest of time, we're going to head to the next one. So let's give them a round of applause. So next we have Jonathan Martis from Kleard. And I still have to admit, every time I see that word, I keep saying Kleard, and I know that's wrong.
I know.
But that's just my
every time someone
idiocy.
says it, I'm like, That's how it goes when you try to have a startup-y name. All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. So I'm the co-founder and CEO of Kleard. I still have my license as a real estate agent, and this idea came from my own need as an agent, hosting open houses, getting fake information at open houses, and seeing...
Just want to get you in the camera.
Oh, yeah. Seeing that there was a need for a better safety product, not only for my wife that was going to go into real estate, but also just for an agent to know that they're getting verified info when they work with a buyer. So Kleard, as mentioned, for open houses and showings, provides real-time verification of a buyer's cell phone, which links them to that location at that time with that agent. And we have email verification that happens in the background as well. We have it working on iOS, Android, and we have safety tools built in as well, which is why you see the Apple Watch, and we have a web platform as well. So we have the app very easy to use. All the tabs are at the bottom. You can quick verify someone. You can use for your showings, open houses. You can do all of the same things as you can on the tablet, as you can on the phone. You can activate a safety alert at any time. And we have automated alerts as well. When you start a showing, if you don't end that showing, automated alerts will be sent to your emergency contacts. Paper sign-in sheets don't work, and you can't verify the info. This is pretty typical, even though it seems funny. I've held open houses, one in Magnolia specifically. Not sure if it's a Magnolia part of Seattle thing, but people were just like laughing at me with what they were writing down. And I'm like, you know what? This has to stop. I'm like wasting my weekends. I'm away from my family. Like, I need to be able to have some potential better lead gen. So this is common, like a sheet, and people just write bogus info, and they know you can't verify it. So let's say goodbye to paper sign-in sheets and hello to smart open houses with Kleard. With Kleard, people sign in. You get notified on your phone while you're in the house, and they're entering in their information on the tablet. As they finish, you'll be notified as well with their name and information. They enter in the SMS code right there on the spot, which links them to that house at that time. You as the agent now get their information. You can see if they have an agent. You can add notes, and you can do all this within a few seconds. You can also follow up with everyone with a few taps. And because it's verified, you know they're actually going to get it. And you can follow up with email or text with mail-merged templates so that you don't have to type out everything. So that's how that works. Repeat sign-ins are super fast. Because you're already cleared, you don't have to fill out all the same information, just your phone number and first name. Pulls up your info, you confirm, and within 10 seconds you're cleared. A cleared signage, the lowest tech thing we have, the most loved thing by the agents. Like, we tested this so much, and they're like, we love the signage. This preps the buyers before they come in, so you don't have to explain everything, which is a pain. Why do I have to sign in? Well, the seller, you stumble on your words. It's right there, right? And so it's easier. We provide that for free. You just pay shipping and handling. Seller reports look professional and are generated with TAP, so you can send this to your seller and let them know how the open house went. Email follow-up, super fast. You can send an email to hundreds of hundreds of buyers or your leads in a few taps, mail merged, and it's 26 times faster compared to if you did it on your own. So we're just trying to make the flow of an agent easier. A recent partnership we have with AdWorks allows buyers, when they sign in, to automatically have ads displayed on websites they visit and social media automatically once they sign in. So this partnership with AdWorks is awesome because it allows you to stay in front of these buyers without having to always send them a message wondering what you should say. Showings with Kleard, as I mentioned earlier, you can verify people before starting a showing, which Doorside, we've already talked about doing something together, so that they can verify someone before starting the showing for safety. We keep track of everything, so you can see who was where at what time, and we feel like there's better transparency in real estate with our product. And I'm gonna give you a sneak peek. Actually, I've already posted on LinkedIn, but I'll give more info about what we're announcing next week in San Francisco on stage at the NAR Expo. So this is a teaser image, and we believe the future of real estate is going to be involved with what we're doing through our pitch. So thank you.
Some pretty exciting stuff. All right, so I'm excited about tonight because I'm going to tell you that in my little bit of existence doing marketing, I found it pretty tough. And so even for myself, I'm really excited about diving down on some of these questions. So first of all, I'm just going to give you each a chance, and we'll just start from here. Introduce yourself, what's your specialty, what you do, what's your passion, kind of around those things to kind of get everybody to understand what value or what pain points or problems that you're solving with what you're doing now. And then we'll kind of dive into the questions a bit.
Hi everyone, Richard Bristol. I'm currently doing independent consulting in technology and marketing. Was previously Vice President of Collaborative Technology, running business development and marketing, which was a real estate PropTech. But prior to Collabra, I've been with about 10 different startups in the tech space, everything from mobile analytics, big data, cloud, AI, ML. So it's, the tech background, my passion is the combination of tech and marketing, bringing it together for solving customers' needs.
Hey y'all, so my name is Matthew Marks. I'm the founder and CEO of a company over in Pioneer Square, based in Pioneer Square, called Evocalize. We're a Madrona-backed company that we're all about performance marketing. So we're kind of the largest performance-based marketing company in the residential real estate space that no one's ever heard of. We're kind of like a technology infrastructure that allows big brokerages and portals to collaborate with their agents to run scientific marketing programs at the click of a button. So everyone from Realtor.com, every dollar that Realtor.com spends to generate their own leads out of Facebook or Google comes to us first, just as one. Most of the brokerages you'll have heard of do the same. So really excited to be here tonight, and hopefully we can share some learnings.
Austin Schneider, not as fancy as these two. Wow.
Fancier.
Wow.
Way fancier.
I have a company called Brantegic, where we help people with social media branding. We operate as a fraction of their organization. We help them look as good as they are. Social media is a big pain point, especially in the real estate industry, so we find ourselves helping a lot of the realtors, real estate companies, specifically with social media, helping them look good and get awareness and really just business from social.
Great, thanks. So just to kind of give you a layout of where I'm going to go with the questioning here tonight is I want to talk for a few minutes about where are we at? Sort of how do we get there? Where are we at now? I want to talk about then where are we going and get these guys to weigh in on that. I think they'll have some interesting things to say. And then finally, kind of having that framework in place about where we're at and where we're going. What are you to do as realtors? I think that's an important question because in the end, you only have limited time. You want to know, well, okay, that's all good and great, but what do I concentrate on? So let's start out here. Let's start with digital marketing in general. So, Matt, you've been involved with this digital marketing for a long time. Can you paint the picture of what's happened over the last 4 or 5 years in digital marketing and bring us sort of up to date with that?
Totally, yeah. So you're saying I'm old. You're right.
Wise.
Hey,
So
you're only a fellow gray hair with me.
Yeah, I know the gray hair
so.
follows, it's bad. So it's interesting. If you look back in time, the kind of 2000s were the era of the MLS website, right? That's the MLS postal website. Consumers went there. If you think of the era that we're in now, we're kind of just ending the era of the portal, right? We think you're ending the era of the portal. The Zillow and Realtor.com are customers. Dominated marketplace, right, where consumers go there to do their home search. And so if you rewind time, there wasn't, I mean, an agent didn't have to do that much. They needed to know, I mean, on the marketing front, they needed to know from a digital front that they could go sponsor listings on Realtor.com, go to Zillow, be a part of their zip code there. But they didn't have to be an expert in digital marketing. They had to be a great marketer. Direct mail's been around for a while, email certainly, drip campaigns. But we think about moving forward, we think about all of that changing. And where we sit today is kind of, in our opinion, the cusp of this great change, right? Where the portals are starting to change their business models. We'll talk more about that, I think, in a little bit. But they're starting to change their business models, and that changes what an agent needs to do to be successful. But at the same time, agents are coming out of this age of just print materials, and they're coming into the age of digital, and they're becoming, real, very knowledgeable, at least about the need to do digital marketing well. One interesting point that I'm going to present right after Jonathan at NAR in San Francisco next week. The second most, so the most used digital marketing channel for real estate agents is still the MLS, right? Still, you post your listing, it's uploaded to the MLS, goes to all the syndicated websites. The second one, over 80% of agents now post their listings on Facebook.
Yeah.
Over 80%. And when you combine Google and Facebook, it's over 87%. So agents get it. They need to be there. They need to be digitally present, we call it. But this is just a start, right? It's the start of that new era because that's really hard. It's just time consuming. The average agent spends 9 hours right now, 9 hours a week doing this digital marketing. And so that's kind of the era we're coming from. And this is really, I mean, you can see it like, the leaves falling off the trees right now in Seattle, that the seasons are changing in real estate marketing.
So Richard, what's your addition on that about maybe what you see in there, and particularly what kind of effect that's having on the real estate industry right now? And particularly, what effect is it having on your real estate agents, your realtors who are having to deal with this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great time in the technology that's going to market, and for the agent, now you have hundreds of choices. And so I think what the effective is complexity at this point. Well, it's great that you get all these other capabilities, but the complexity is how do you figure out which are the best tools, the different marketing tools, everything from lead gen and CRM and social media. There's potentially other services that are involved with that. And it's how do you figure out what works best for you? There's a lot of studies. Looking online today, there's opinions all over the board from everybody in the industry about what are the best marketing tools for agents. And there's some that are similar, but it's usually about 80% are different from every expert who's talking about it. So, I mean, I look at it that you need to find something that works best for you, that's most useful, that's easy to use. I mean, the customer experience from your side as an agent to be able to quickly be able to use it, and then you don't have to spend all your time trying to fix it or figure it out is a big deal. And then I think as far as looking if you're affiliated with brokers and the brokerages, what tools and platforms are they providing? Because you could do everything independently, have 12, 20 different tools of your own, or a brokerage may put together a platform which has all of those tools built in, but then there's pros and cons to weigh on that side as well.
And Austin, I'm going to take a huge leap here and guess that you're a millennial.
Yes.
Which I think is particularly important because from what I've read, millennials now make up the largest segment of buyers. And it's only going to get larger. So from your perspective, this generation, how is it changing things? How is it bringing changes, and what are real estate agents going to have to do? How is that affecting things with them?
Yeah, find more houses that allow dogs. But I think, we have so much access to information as millennials, and what I used to sell for about 2.5 years, and when working with a lot of millennials, they were almost an easy sale just because they did so much research before they even talked to a real estate agent. So I think from a real estate agent perspective, how can you position yourself to when these millennials are doing their research, you're positioned very nicely and postured to get this business and have these people reach out to you because you're the resource that they're doing it, that they're reaching out to, that they're finding online. And a lot of what we do is just through content creation and positioning ourselves as a resource, like looking at ourselves as a media company, and like us as we're a company. Sure, we're real estate agents, but we're a company. We need to market ourselves that way through content, through education, through providing value. So you're postured to be the expert when they're doing all this research, because they can find a lot of information themselves and they want it done right when they work with someone, especially a big transaction like real estate. So yeah.
But doesn't that actually kind of pose a larger problem where now as a real estate agent, you've gone from being someone that someone relies on very early in the stage to kind of hold your hand throughout that process, now to being the person that you want to be found once someone does all their research? What do you see as the challenge there with being the person that's found in the end?
Yeah.
Versus your competitor.
For sure. And I think it's hard for realtors to think of themselves as marketers, right? So I think it's coming up with a good marketing plan and taking the time to come up with a strategy that you're providing value. And a lot of people just it's amazing to me that a lot of people aren't producing user-generated content and providing value to people on social platforms to educate these home buyers and again, posture yourself to get this business and receive the business and really just provide value, because that's what people are looking for, versus the sell, the Zillow Porter model, like selling the information. Like millennials aren't really going to do that.
Matt, what's your take on this? Are you seeing this as a challenge, and do you see any other really big challenges with digital marketing right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like no end to them, right? Like, but from my perspective, 50% of consumers choose the first agent that they meet. Period. That's in person or online. Where do you think you stand the chance of beating the most people who aren't already connected with you? Right here, because that potential home buyer or seller is sitting on this, checking out Facebook or surfing the web or reading an article or whatever as they're dropping their kids off at the bus in the morning, right? This is where they're living their lives today. So you have to be, again, we call it digitally present, but you have to be there all the time. Like modern billboard that you can actually track and like pull leads down from, right? But there are lots of like requirements to being able to do that well. But that's the net. Like that's what you have to do as a modern day real estate agent. In terms of complexities, man, they are never ending, right? Like data, right? So great real estate marketing relies on data. It relies on a ton of time. It relies on a bunch of expertise, right? Those are things that, and real estate agents don't have a ton of time. They don't have a bunch of data, and they don't have a bunch of expertise. So like, what do you do, right? So that's when we talk about Richard mentioning partner with your provider, right? Make sure that you're in lockstep with them, and that they're offering the tools that are really helping you unlock your data and mobilize it and use it in marketing and advertising effectively. The legal side is a really big, interesting thing that's coming up, right? So if you think about the state of California, just 6 months ago, actually sued eXp Realty, the brokerage, you guys probably know this from Inman, right? For the actions of their independent contractor agents. Because the independent contractor agents went in, logged into Facebook and ran marketing without the logo being the right size of the representative brokerage, and without the representative brokerage ID, the EXP got sued, right? So what do you do, right? What do you do if you're EXP? Can you tell your independent contractors you can't advertise on these tools, or you have to do it this way, and how do you enforce that, right? It's just like never ending. And then the privacy and all the platforms and how they're changing. Facebook and Google are shrinking the amount of options you have when you're marketing on your own. So yeah, the industry's the marketing side of the industry is totally changing right now.
So are we seeing the end of the sort of independent small agency, that those are just going to go away? That really, when you talk about complexity, when you talk about needing data, sort of the firepower behind it, I just don't see how a small real estate or realty shop brokerage is going to survive in order to compete in this kind of world.
I tend to think it's it's actually going the opposite. I think it's splintering into teams. I think teams, and NAR doesn't like to say this, right? So John and I are both in this like NAR reach, technology accelerator thing. They don't like to talk about teams. I put teams in several of my presentations. They go red line. But teams are you can have, so if you just to throw out some of our clients, there are lots of options, but you can go with a Boomtown ROI, right? Or a conversion KV Core from Inside Real Estate. Any of these, lots of these are our customers. They run us under the covers, but they've done a lot of innovation to unlock the data, to let agents and teams, to cater to teams, to have the power of a major brokerage, but on your team. And so I think that's good. That's a trend that's going to continue personally. so we'll see how that, whether the team is indie completely or whether they're associated with a discount brokerage or whether they're under the umbrella of a Compass. I mean, who knows? To some degree, who cares, right? Like it's about that team. The feet on the street real estate is always about, as important as this is, and I'll talk about this all day long, it's about feet on the street and your reputation locally. And the team, I think the team is going to become even more important.
So that's a good
I
segue
agree.
into, so where are we going? What's the next 3, 4, 5 years look like for you guys as far as, what a real estate agent is going to be facing and what changes are out there for digital marketing?
Yeah, I think there's going to be more solutions that are going to be targeted to pulling all these systems together that are going to be more affordable, easier to use for real estate agents and teams. Like you, I'm starting to see that with the different teams, talking to them about different solutions, even though they work for one of the big national brokerages, that they're looking at their own platform that they're going to put together that is focused on their needs. For example, if they're just focused on the high-end luxury, they've got a specific need and networks and how they want to be found. They're wanting to focus on increasing their SEO, their SEM capabilities with Google and the analytics and that side of it, to be able to, so that they can be found, and like you said, digitally be more present, putting together more sophisticated marketing campaigns, the content, blogs, user information, different types of content that's relevant. So all the leads come into them so that they are found higher on the search, which doesn't necessarily mean quantity, it's just quality. And I saw some data on that. If you're writing blogs, the optimal number of characters is 1,200 words. That will get you a blog that's 1,200 words plus or minus 50 words is the optimal length of a blog that gets found and ends up way higher in search if anybody's looking for anything related to the content. As far as the future go, I think as we're talking mobile as part of the topic here, the fact is that having mobile-enabled websites is somewhat of a challenge, depending on if you have high-quality photos and videos on your website. Sometimes if people are out in different areas, you can wait for 5 minutes or it just doesn't launch. I think for the future, going from a technology point of view, with the 5G network that's starting to be built in our country from all the carriers, that's going to be broadband, cable bandwidth, 100 megabits per second or fiber bandwidth. That won't be an issue anymore. I think that will actually help, because right now I've been through a lot of implementations where if you're on Wi-Fi or you're in a building here on your laptop, no problem seeing all this high-res image, all the great listing information, the videos, the virtual tours, the 3D virtual tours. You try to do it on your mobile device and it doesn't work. And especially if you're out in the field and you're out showing clients or wanting to show them other listings, if you're taking them around to different places, that capability isn't really there unless you've really focused on how do you reduce the bandwidth and optimize your apps. And those things won't have to worry about in a few years.
Yeah, I guess just from a branding perspective, what we're seeing is a lot more people invest in content. Like we think maybe 3 years ago, people aren't going to buy like an Instagram video, right? Like no one's going to invest in an Instagram video, but more and more of, especially the seasoned agents, are seeing that their customers' attention is on mobile, right? So they're investing money in branding and content and social media management, not just having their assistant or their little cousin do their social media for them. They're investing in a strategy and marketing and content, and it's really helping them win and get good awareness in investing in content and good content. So yeah, that's what we're seeing.
I think one of the interesting things I'm hearing from you guys is, whereas if you spend time in the tech industry at all, there's this idea like, we're going to disintermediate all these agents. We're just not going to need them anymore. Now, as someone who kind of straddles both sides, I can tell you that nobody in the end will do, some sort of large transaction, one that happens very few times in their life, with only a AI system. I mean, there's a need for it, but it sounds like also, and I'm encouraged by what I'm hearing, that you're actually seeing the rise of this tech not just simply enabling the larger companies to dominate, but enabling some of the smaller teams, as you say it, to actually have as much power and be able to get a leg up, in fact, in many ways, with those relationships in marketing locally to real estate.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about to be the golden age for the. I mean, I'm a little contra to what a lot of people think. You know, if you think about the iBuyer, and they might be dominant at some point, but it's going to be a long time, right? The small percentage that they represent in the market today, I actually think they're a good thing because they're just interjecting enough fear into the marketplace so that agents are going, wait, I gotta wake up. It's time to wake up. I gotta wake up. I gotta learn. I gotta change. I'm gonna adapt. Right. The greatest trait of a human being is the ability to adapt and change. Right. And agents need to do the same thing because right now you're in a golden age. You don't have to rely on the portals anymore. Go spend money with Realtor.com still, please. You don't have to rely on the portals alone, right? Because now people don't just go to the portals, right? If you think about the stat I used earlier, 50% of people do business with the first agent they meet, digitally or in person. You want to be that first person they meet, right? At least for your sphere, for your neighborhood. You've got to be digitally present. And now the content with the technology that's emerging with AI, a lot of our stuff is based on machine learning. The content goes out and it finds the customer. You don't wait for the customer to say, I think I'm going to sell in a while. I'm going to go look for my Zestimate. It doesn't work that way anymore. That's one data point. Consumers are looking at lots of data points. And they're living their lives on Google and on Facebook and online, all kinds of TikTok, right? All kinds of different channels online. And so you want to be there. You want to be there with the right content, with relevant content, with the right video, right? And if you're a great agent who really gets it, you'll be full funnel, right? You'll do it. You'll start from branding, always on, to market statistics and being the information source for your community, and then the listings that come up, the just solds. All of those things will be in this coherent strategy that just happens, and it's all based on modeling on your. How do you find out who to go tackle? It's not just geographic fencing anymore, right? It doesn't work, right? Geography is one little piece of it. It's who were my prior transactions? Who were those people? Who's my farm? Right? Who are those people? It's the data that you have. The customer data that you have, it's your gold. So you have to use it. And if you execute a strategy like that, you will dominate. As an indie, as a team, as a part of a bigger brokerage, it doesn't matter. You will dominate. Sorry, I'm getting animated. I get all fired up.
So the next generation coming is Gen Z. Differences. Are you starting to see any of them buy? I mean, I think they're now hitting about 25, 26, so you should start to see them maybe start to trickle into the market a little bit. Maybe it's early, but what are we seeing there? Any predictions? Because if we're talking about the next 2 or 3 years, they're going to start to come up and running. They're going to start to now, 5 years from now, if we sit here, we're going to be talking about Gen Z being a large buyer in the market.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just going to be millennials on steroids, and just the way that millennials are searching for information now, like Gen Zers are going to do it even like 10x that, right? And I think that's where it's going to be more important than ever to be showing up where the attention of those Gen Zers are who are growing up with the cell phones, growing up with the internet, having the content strategy, having a marketing strategy to capitalize on them and, again, educate them, have good reviews, make sure your online presence is postured correctly and statured to, again, be where the attention of the consumers are and show up correctly. That's kind of, I just think it's millennials on steroids.
Are they looking for anything in particular different from their service providers, like a real estate agent, different than millennials?
I can't say. I don't know.
The only data we've seen on it, or that I've seen on it, Brock, specifically is they're even more self-serve than millennials. Right, so they don't want to go and trust a big portal. They want to go get the information on their own and do some of their own things. And that's why I say adaptation and adaptability are super key characteristics of humans in general, but of the agent, they're the most important thing you can do, because you see the Doorside folks, right? Like, they just presented a model where you can outsource some of the activities that are not as high value in your real estate business, right? Phenomenal idea, right? I love it. It's like a great idea, right? Because if you think about it, some of these services may splinter off from the agent. That's okay, right? And because the core value prop of that trusted guide through the home selling process in particular, and to some degree from the home buying process, is going to be there. It's the largest asset most people have in their life. Like, they're just not going to do that all on their own. But Gen Z wants all the data. They want all the information to make the decision on their own. And that's which agent to work with, that's which home to buy, that's how to stage, like that's everything, right?
Counterintuitively, do you think in the end that actually means that relationships end up becoming the most important thing to why they choose a particular agent?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and also the fact they grew up with Uber at this age and crowdsourcing, so they're open to more ideas and more models, but they still come back to the personal relationships.
So let's shift it a little bit and let's talk about, okay, this is all maybe a little scary as a realtor. I'm facing all this stuff. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. Let's try to bring it home and say, okay, what should a realtor do? So, Richard, I'm going to toss to you to start off with is what marketing tools are key for a real estate agent for success? I mean, look, no one has much time anymore. So what's critical? What do they have to have? And then on top of that, how do they track effectiveness? Is what they're using even effective?
Yeah, and that's a great point. Because there's so many different tools that you can use. But I think when it comes for digital marketing, a CRM, a good CRM that you like, and that you've got a good contact management system. That's one of 3 areas that I'm thinking of. Secondly is your lead gen, which is critical for getting the different marketing and leads in and out. And then social media, web for the online presence, your content for inbound and outbound marketing capabilities. I think those, if you have tools in those areas, which there's numerous tools that either independently or provide all that together, that those would be very helpful. And there's actually a couple. I know of some services out there too where if you want to outsource that to like $99 a month or some other price, they'll take care of a lot of that for you, and they just run it, and then you don't have to worry about it. So more and more companies like that I'm starting to see in the market. For ROI, actually, several of these companies they do have built-in ROI, where they have like Boomtown. It's like they sell it, and it's based on your lead gen, and here's the ROI for conversion to sale. So I think they're starting to build that in. If you individually are looking at it without the data from the different tech, it's more of you're judging on how many homes did I sell, trying to tie it back to what tool I did. You can somewhat get a little bit of idea, but you can get some more definitive data directly within the tools. That's much more solid to work off.
So how about on the social media side? I mean, what's important now? What's maybe important over the next year? What do you see growing?
I would say video, blogging in particular. I mean, if 50% of the people are making a decision on the first agent they see online or in person, and video gets 1,200% more engagement than photos and just article text, like why aren't we leveraging that as real estate agents to stay in front of new customers, to find new customers, and to provide value to them in an authentic way? Because if you see people on video constantly, top of mind all the time, maybe LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever it is, their senses, like the consumers will feel like they know you, right? Like a lot of the time people will come up to me and say, oh, I feel like I know you because I've seen you on video a couple of times. And it's like, oh, that's awesome. Like, cool. Like, so it's happened with home buyers as well. For me personally, when I was selling, it was like, I feel like I know you. It's a very easy transaction. You're not competing for buyers. You're not competing for listings. So I think video is just so prevalent. It's not just new customers. I mean, 82% of realtors get their business from referrals. So allowing yourself to get referrals or your current customers to be like, oh, check out my realtor, check out their blogs. It just really provides that, I feel like I know you. You're authentic on camera. They're going to meet you in person. It kind of provides that warm introduction to your potential customers.
So I know one of the most important things, particularly as a real estate agent, is you're trying to build a brand apart from the company that you're with. I mean, you don't want to be so-and-so with whoever I pick on here is nothing. With Windermere, you know, you don't want people to really see the Windermere. You want to see, you know, Brock Freeman, that I've got that brand. And how do you build that these days with so many different social media channels? How do you get out there? How do you build that brand for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just being your authentic self. I mean, people work with who they know, who they like, who they trust. I think it's having a plan around, you know, authentic content and providing value. And if you can do that through a well thought out strategy and just be consistent with it, it's a long game, especially branding what we do. But it does pay off in leaps and bounds. And if you're authentic, that's honestly the number one thing, and provide real value to people, then you're really set up for success.
Man, I'm curious, particularly from your standpoint, since you have your hands and you're looking at a lot of data, is how do you, it's always been a challenge to me in thinking, like, you know, as a realtor, you go between a long period of time between a sale with someone. What are some data that you've seen there, and how do you see that connection being built over time that sort of drives that authenticity? How do you get people, I think, you know, even as email, and I've received my share of realtor emails over the years where I'm just like, click unsubscribe, no value. I mean, that seems like such a mountain to try and scale.
Yeah, I mean, the realtor is the center of a community. I mean, they always have been, right? So, but the life cycle is, you know, 7 years long, right? So you do a transaction, and then your next transaction with that customer is 7 years down the road. I can tell you. So we moved here. I moved my company up from Austin, Texas, about 6 or 7 years ago, right? So I've gotten text messages and phone calls from the agent who sold my house in Austin up here as recently as the last 6 months, right? Talk about a damn good real estate agent, right? I mean, that's a realtor right there, right? That person kept in contact with me. And by the way, you have a unique opportunity because you know service providers, right? You know, you have the ability to be this, it just takes work, right? All it takes is organization and work. So what we suggest, and this is not, we generate the leads and then push them into this process as a part of our company, but we suggest, again, you work with one of the leading firms that has a template for engaging existing customers, right? For farming. Because now you use your existing database and you stay top of mind, right? The holiday postcard is kind of cheesy, but it works. It works. It keeps you, if you talk with anyone who's been in the industry for, 20, 30 years, those holiday postcards, they worked yesterday and they work today, right? The digital iteration of those works too. So I would say you're uniquely positioned to know all the great service providers already. The remodelers, the home flooring people. There are new startups, by the way, that are coming out helping realtors monetize that, which is kind of a cool thing, I think, right? Like, you ought to get some money for that, shouldn't you? I mean, if not that you're going to recommend someone that's not good just because of the money, but it's your reputation at the end of the day. But if you have a great flooring person company or a decoration company or a furniture, like, you should get some kind of compensation for that. So I love that idea. I love those companies that are startups that are coming out in that.
You're talking about something like Home Hub,
yeah,
which is right here in Seattle.
100%. Yeah, actually, they were one of the ones I was thinking about. Yeah, couldn't think of their name.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a great idea because it does serve both purposes at the same time.
Okay. As we kind of wrap up this, and we'll open up this for Q&A, what's one piece of practical advice you would give to someone starting out in the real estate career right now? Around digital marketing, this area, and then I'll open it up to you. So maybe each one of you, what's your one piece of advice? Your one or two sentences.
Like, don't try to do everything right at the very beginning. It's like, put together the plan and the most important pieces to start, and get an understanding of what you need to do for just some basics for having a web online presence, and what social media channels and what basic content, and how to figure out what makes you unique with your brand to get to market.
Own your own data and protect it like the gold that it is, right? And when I mean data, I don't mean listings, the listings data. That stuff is like everywhere, right? You can't do anything with that. That's good. That's gone. It's not, you don't even need to protect that. We need to protect your customers. Your customer data, your customer list. That doesn't mean you don't share it with your representative brokerage if that's the right thing to do for you, but realize that that is your gold. So protect it and use it. Use it for modeling. Use it to figure out what characteristics do these folks share, right? Farm it, protect it, because the big folks are trying to do that. And the only way you're going to compete is if you protect it, gather it, structure it, and use it. So really, as everyone talks about all kinds of things in disruption, but data is the new oil, and you need to have your own oil well.
Cool. From like a branding and social media standpoint, I would just say figure out who your target customer is and come up with a strategy to provide them value, and just stick to one target customer and just keep feeding it. I know we want to work with anybody who has a pulse, but we just want to pick one thing and be really good at that one target customer, whether it's first-time home buyers or whoever that is. Reverse engineer your target customer. What are they going to find value? Post that through content, through user-generated content, through value, and watch what happens.
One follow-up on question I want to ask you, Austin, is you made a pretty outstanding claim earlier, and I'm not denying it, but you said a 1,200%. Can you explain that a little more about the video? Yeah. And if that's the case, I mean, you know, how would a realtor get started with that? It seems like such a you know, for someone who's maybe never done video, that seems like, man, how do I even get started in this? Where do I even start? How do I do this?
Totally.
What kind of videos should I shoot? You know?
Yeah, I think the stats, video generates 1,200% more shares than image and articles combined from a social media standpoint. And when I say from like a starting standpoint, like the best camera is the camera that you have. You know, go on Amazon, buy some like audio, and then again, like find out who your target customer is, and then just provide value. I mean, if your target customer is first-time home buyers, just go to Google, type in first-time home buyer. There's going to be a bazillion articles that you can just put into your own words. The MLS gives us market updates once a month. Like there's content that we just put into our own words. And just speak your truth and be authentic on camera. And you know, the first couple times you're going to suck, but like anything, it'll just get easier and easier, and you'll evolve as you go. But your engagement should be significantly more if you're putting your face in front of the camera as hard as it can be to start, especially.
So could one of the ideas be that, you know, kind of leveraging off of your idea about the service providers is go interview service providers, maybe highlight a job they did, give the homeowners an idea about what they do. So
Totally.
you're not necessarily the only person that's pushing it, because people get tired of seeing the same face. That you're highlighting local providers, why they're good.
Yeah.
Look, here's the job they did.
I think that's
Does
great.
that work?
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, to me, I think it's a great idea. It's like top of the funnel. You know, not as much direct response. And then you can follow on with the direct response programs as well. Like the listings, it's still the front hero image of a house works better from a cost per lead and conversion basis in over $100 million of advertising than anything else out there. So from a DR perspective, from actually getting a lead and getting conversions through. But I totally agree with Austin. I mean, you need to be digitally present, and video is a great way to brand it. So unique content is really important, I think, right? So unique content, not just home stats, you know, it's part of it, but everyone's doing it, right? It's like everyone has RPR, so everyone's pushing the button to email the market stats out there. It's very content. It's really an investment in time. You can automate a lot of that. I mean, that's what's coming. If you look at the next 5 years, right? It's the automation of a lot of that is coming. You're not going to automate all the creative production. You're still going to take the video, but now the targeting gets better, right? You're not just boosting it to your existing friends on Facebook, right? That doesn't do anything. It does very little. Like you need to actually make it work with the right audiences and the right people that are likely to buy.
So I took a page myself out of this and shot a little video. How many of you watched my video? Not bad. Okay. So I mean, this is the first time I did this kind of thing. I stood out on my back porch and the leaves look good. I think I shot it 2 times and then threw those away, and I'm like, okay, forget it. I'm not shooting anymore. I'm just gonna repeat it about 5 times, and then finally got something that was halfway okay.
Are you gonna show it or what?
No, most people saw it. So
I just thought
now we know you didn't see it.
No.
That's a great point, because some of the top real estate agents in the country who are selling hundreds of millions of dollars of properties are now doing video. So if they thought they just had everything going, they still think that that's still important. So I think it's one thing from your perspective. It's the how do they keep their businesses going, even if they are a top performer.
So let's open this up for Q&A. Jonathan.
Thanks everyone for being here. It's really helpful information. So I have someone I know at my church who's a real estate agent, and we were talking because I have my license, and she's like super frustrated, and like I'm trying to help her, with what I know. But I think what you kind of mentioned is key is the marketing and like the videos and how they're getting in front of people. But the worry on her end is, well, I'm going to spend all this money. Like how would you convince somebody that's a newer agent to spend the money on the marketing to allow them to see like, okay, in the end it's going to be worth it, or at least just get started with videos, like what would you say to someone like that?
I mean, you have to start by I think Jonathan, you know this stuff, you're being humble, but you build your digital presence, right? So it's not very expensive to get a good-looking website these days, right? It's not very expensive to list your properties there. It's not very expensive to get on Facebook and have a presence. It's not very expensive to use your own camera, get a stand and a microphone and talk into it and shoot a video, right? And have your presence, just have something to say, right? None of those things are very costly. We're talking like, couple $100.
But most people still don't do it. That's the thing.
Well, I know, but I think it seems like a lot of work. It's scary, right? If you think about it, like, how do you know what to do? How do you know what to do? How do you know how to take the first step? There's no like master checklist that you can trust out there. So, I don't know the answer of how to motivate someone to get past the fear of doing those things, but the evidence is clear. Like, you have to do those things to be a professional realtor in your market. You have to be digitally present now.
What I say, I guess, from perspective is just reminding them that they are a business owner now, right? And that they need to run their business like any other business owner would. And sometimes that means investing in the marketing. A lot of it's mostly time, like what you said, like just investing in your time into understanding Facebook, all the social media channels and whatnot. But just reminding themselves, like, you are a business and you got to market yourself like a business. And it'll come back around, and people will take you more seriously if you're doing that.
Maybe force them to spend the 9 hours average time an agent spends on marketing a week, right?
Well, the misconception is they think, people are just going to contact them. And honestly, even with your videos, I feel like I know you more even though I've never met you. Yeah. I see your videos all the time. Austin, like, I'll tell my wife, I'm like, oh, did you see, going to this event, Austin's going to be there. Austin Schneider? She's like, oh, like, we saw your videos. It's like, we've never met you, But okay, let's be fair. Your videos are pretty legit. Like, they're like pro style, So
one of my first one on YouTube is iPhone, and
it's like you look at that video and then you're like, oh, how's mine gonna be with my front camera?
Show them mine, Jonathan. That was like 10 minutes. I think what you guys said before. You just be less afraid to show your authentic self. I mean, you might have to do a couple of shots, and maybe you can get your help to kind of shoot and give her little pointers. But in the end, I mean, it's not like you need to produce a half-hour TV show. 5 minutes to explain some term or something for new home buyers that they don't know is enough to get you started, right?
Exactly. And that's what you guys help with, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. Cool.
Sarah.
So I have a question about the data side. So I've been in real estate, but I'm currently in the mortgage side of things. And although they say to loan officers that you own your data, they are very specific when people leave that you do not own your data, and the company owns the data, and that's actually a rule from the CFPB. I've noticed that with the big corporate companies coming in and taking over all the shops here locally, that they're going to the same model where it's all owned. You have to use their CRM. It's their data now if you leave. So do you find that people just completely maintain their own databases separately, and do they do it old school way in an Excel file? Do they pay for their own CRM system? That's my question, because I'm trying to protect my salespeople, because I know that that's
I'm gonna get in
key.
trouble with one of my clients here. This is still being live streamed.
It's unindependent, right?
Okay, good.
Yes, I've seen that. Where the agents have a separate CRM database, and I've seen it in Excel. I've seen it where they just do like
maybe a hub, they're using HubSpot for $50 a month with their own CRM built in, and they can run their own email, social media campaigns out of that, landing pages, everything built in for $50 a month. Low price, but they're still got that, they're doing that aside. So yes, I have seen that. It's been for the exact same reason, because they want to keep their own contacts, their own list, what they brought in, what they've worked their career for.
I'm not sure it's going to work, right? Our technology is used by a number of the folks that you're probably referring to. I just don't think that, I don't, with the exception of folks who have employees or contractors that are tightly controlled in a different commission model out there maybe, I don't think that traditional brokerage is going to get away, or even a disruptive brokerage is going to get away with taking your customer lists and data. I don't think it's, I could be surprised, but a lot of the agents that we work with through our partners are quickly go to their own independent solution, right? So it's a really interesting battleground in the real estate space, right? Because you have folks like, you have Gary Keller stand up and he says, we're building our own, we're going to invest $1 billion in building our own tech, right? Well, okay. And they have the residual model and stuff to maybe keep agents a little closer to the vest. But if you're an agent, do you really want to put all of your data in Gary's system? Or do you want to have one that you pay that treats you as the customer? So it's a really interesting. I love this conversation. Who knows where it'll go? But the brokerages are desperate to trade with you, right? And now I think it's going to go to a more collaborative model. Maybe I'm just an optimist, where where you own your data, but you can pool it, and they have certain rights that they can use it for, but not to compete with you while it's in there, and then they have to expunge it when it's gone. I think some of that stuff is actually going to emerge as a standard practice in the industry. I'm an optimist, so maybe it won't.
I had a question too. Maybe like a license to use.
Totally.
I hear
a
what you're
license to
saying.
use. Yeah.
And then my question was, this is really amazing in terms of speaking to the real estate community, because coming from a title and escrow partner in this, we are always dealing, even right now, with tech coming, and tech is already here in many other elements of our society. And unfortunately, we're held back by the MLS to share listings, to like listings on Facebook. And so my point and my question is that at the next event like this, or if there has been an MLS partner who can speak, or an attorney that can speak, because they are analog right now, and we need to get back the licensing and the law I see holding us back on the technology. Would you agree, or do you have any insight on the MLS currently, or anyone in the room that is going to be helping a marriage with the technology that's here, working with the law and all of that, so we can operate in the tech space and not get fined for doing things that seem to be helping realtors? You know what I mean? So.
Yes, David. Yes.
I have the answer.
You have the answer?
Lock them up. The MLS sucks.
I know, it does.
Yeah, okay. I can say that.
Yes.
I've been doing this a long time. No, so, back off. So,
on that thread.
Yeah.
Before I was a realtor, I was a builder. So I've kind of have this blend of, I've built homes, I've built custom homes, now I'm selling homes, I'm helping people after they close. Oh, this broke? Well, it's an easy fix. So I am going to venture out into video. And it's like a real leap for me, okay? I mean, when I came into real estate, marketing was postcards, right? And now look at it. So, and I'm going to see myself kind of as a cross between Joe Rogan and Johnny Carson, if there's such a thing, right? So my question is, I mean, I know everybody posts on YouTube, but what else is there? Where else do you get exposure?
LinkedIn, Facebook,
Instagram Watch, Facebook Watch, Instagram Watch, right? TikTok. Yeah. It's a little newer.
Yeah,
it's a little young.
I'm gonna give you a warning right now. TikTok is a Chinese CCP owned company. So
You install that, you just gave access to China. What that's worth.
I was just kidding. We don't support TikTok.
I will second that the MLS is operating in the 1990s. We are behind. The amount of data we can enter in on our listings is exactly what it was in the 1990s when we had the big books. It is ridiculous that we are limited to 500 characters, 25 pictures, blah, blah, blah. It's just silly, stupid.
It's changing this week.
Sorry?
Pictures are changing this week.
Well, yeah, but it's only about 15 years too late. And I'm going to say, hey, I love you millennials. I wish I was a millennial, but it's not all about the millennials. The largest income producing group census-wise for us, as in our industry, is us old people, us baby boomers. That's where the most wealth in terms of housing equity is. And we're downsizing in huge numbers and buying down or buying up. What technologies have you found that work best for that group? Because that's really key. And then secondly, have you studied predictive variable analytics models yet? Offers.com or SmartZip or any of those? And what kind of faith do you have in those?
Constellation. No, so I can only speak from our, we've advertised in every zip code, a lot in the country, and our most ROI positive age segment is 45 to 55 year olds, and the most the best channel for that age group is Facebook. Interesting. Facebook is like used to be the young. Now it's the most profitable for the old.
The young grew up, right?
The young grew up. Yeah.
It's just catching up.
Once your grandma gets on.
Real slow. It's
Yeah.
Facebook news feed, right? It's like the old school news feed. It's not even stories, right? 50-year-olds don't even know that it's up there. And I had to tell my wife the other day. I was like, look at that bar. Check out my story, right? She's like, what do you mean story? Like that's what the next version will be. So I don't know. I mean, we have people. I know the SmartZip guys and pretty well, and predictive analytics. It's a term I'm not all that fond of, because I think everything is trying to be predictive based on past data. Right, and that's what everything's statistics and everything is modeling. I mean, all this stuff is built into our technology. You could call predictive analytics. It's just like what happened in the past. How do we make that? The good things happen in the future and the bad things not happen in the future, right? And let technology analyze it in set variables. So, but I'm a huge believer in it. I don't think humans can analyze that many data points and make those decisions. We couldn't operate as a business if we didn't have it. It would be impossible to run the volume that we run. I think if you look out, Madrona, our venture capital partner, calls it, what do they call it? Intelligence-infused applications or something like that now, right? And it's a whole thesis that they have around investment in applications, whereas the application in the old days, it just did what you told it to do, and then the next time you came in, it did the same thing again, right? And now, new version of software, and this is, looking forward, but starting the last few years, now you push the button the first time and the machine analyzes the results, and the next time you go to push the button, it does something different because it learned from the first time, right? To me, that's predictive analytics, and that's going to be the norm. If your provider, software provider, technology provider doesn't have that, over the next few years, you're going to be at a massive disadvantage. I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, you just described it as machine learning and AI.
Sure.
So
yeah.
That's definitely the way.
Okay. Last question.
Okay, so Austin, you say vlogging and video. We all know that. 3 things that I should do every single week
From like a video perspective?
to promote my business. Video, vlogging, and where? Using what?
I mean, you're a lender, right? So I think LinkedIn is like low-hanging fruit for you, just like building your connection base with your realtor base or whoever that is. I think that's huge. Producing content, user-generated content, being intentional with it, and using social media as a means of connecting with people as well from like a sphere, leverage social media to touch your sphere of influence, whether that's realtors or not, rather than the email or the text message, or rather than the email or the phone call. like send them a DM, and you're likely gonna get a response like that. Yeah, that's, I guess, does that help?
When you say vlogging, are
Yeah.
you just on social networks, or
Sure.
are you actually have an old school blog somewhere that I don't know about?
No, yeah, it's just
Okay.
mostly social, and then you embed the video on your website
Right.
if you have one, which will help with your SEO presence. But yeah, just block time like once a week to do it, and then just be super intentional about it. And I mean, you've done them. I've seen them. Yeah, exactly. So it's just keeping it going, and just it'll snowball.
All right, let's give a big round of applause to our panelists. Appreciate their time.